today. So thank you for the Carrier Dome. Sievers kick. It'll be fielded at the 8-yard line by Morant. The wide receiver number 2's got it. Great opening field position for the Orangemen on the Morant return. 39 yards. And now News, his last game here in Syracuse. Fine young man. On the field, though, a few too many interceptions. He'll have to avoid that here today. Our AT&T starting lineups, 2 seniors, but watch Walter Reyes. He's a 1,000-yard rusher as he comes out. Syracuse constantly juggling its formations. The tight end will line up in a wishbone backfield as he does right now on first down. And the penalty flags come flying on this crew. Our referee today is out of Connecticut.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
To Joseph.
First down.
And there is our AT&T Wireless Syracuse offensive line. Only one senior, average over 300 pounds. The defensive line, 4 seniors start for the Canes. Cornelius Green, a fine backup, injured a week ago. Jonathan Vilma leads the Canes with 99 tackles. It's a young secondary. 9 interceptions this season. After the penalty against Syracuse, now first down and 15. Rhodes, the young running back to the original line of scrimmage. D.J. Williams, number 17 from Concord, California. Another of the dandy Miami Hurricane defensive standouts.
They really do. All up and down the line. You know, this defense returned all the front 4, as you showed. Had to replace the whole secondary. And they're good. 111 yards passing a game in the secondary. And that's because that front 4 puts pressure on the quarterback.
The Syracuse coaching staff has been thinking of ways all week to how to attack this base 4-3 that Miami always features. They throw the screen to the outside, short of the first down. Speaking of Pasqualoni, here's what he told us about the style of play for this game.
I think we've got to be very focused and calm when the game starts, but we're going to have to be able to play this game with tremendous intensity and great emotion as it goes on.
One of the keys, Pasqualoni said, convert third downs. And here comes their first of the game. 3rd down and 4 right now for Syracuse. Keep the ball out of Dorsey and McGahee's hands. Press coverage shown by the Canes. Nunes to throw against it. Batted incomplete, and it's 3 and out after a fine kickoff return. Syracuse wastes good opening field position.
One of the differences in the Canes this year is they play more man coverage underneath with the safeties deep to cover up all the mistakes. Syracuse tried to throw the ball underneath, got it batted down. When you throw the short passes in the middle of the field, you will get balls knocked down.
Back deep is Roscoe Parrish. Mike Schaefer to punt. Miami burned Pittsburgh with a reverse off a punt return last week. Syracuse will be mindful of that. Parrish lets it go toward the end zone, batted, and it goes in. It'll come out as a touchback to the 20-yard line. All right, here's Dorsey. Here's what he told us about the first offensive series against Syracuse.
The biggest thing for us is being able to run the ball to set up play action and hopefully keep the teams off balance that we're playing, and that's the biggest thing we're going to go into this game, trying to stay balanced on offense and try to keep the opposing defense guessing.
36-1, averaging 23 touchdown passes a season. Has started slowly in some games. Going to throw on first down. Wide open is Johnson underneath for a first down. Gary, that was like stealing. They were so soft.
Syracuse came with a blitz. They tried to play zone behind it. When you line up 10 yards off of their receivers, Dorsey is going to throw the slant. So here comes the blitzing guy from the outside right here, outside linebacker. Dorsey knows it. He reads it. He pre-reads it. Look at this. Quick. He's throwing the ball as he's watching, and boy, cannot play off 10 yards, Andre Johnson. Can't press him either, though. Either way.
Open up with a 19-yard gain. Now McGahee's turn. Big hole for him. Great speed. 4.28, the fastest he's been timed at. Going for the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. A 61-yard bolt from the blue. The 1-2 punch hit Syracuse. A 19-yard pass from Dorsey. Then a 61-yard explosion for McGahee, his 20th rushing touchdown this year.
Last time it was play-action pass. This time it looks like play-action pass. Those heads go up. Zone blocking inside. Great block. McGahee peeks outside, then goes inside. And you mentioned it, speed is too much when he gets going.
7-0 as Sievers tacks on the extra point. Talk about a start for the #1 team in the country. Syracuse was hoping to avoid just this, but the Canes are rolling again. 2 touches, 80 yards. Now, Don Soldinger, the running back coach, told me that McGahee may be the most complete package they have ever had at Miami. As you notice, our Pontiac drive summary. 38 seconds. And now with 20 rushing touchdowns, a single season record. The only where that Edger and James beats him is probably in pass receiving. Let's now listen to what Larry Coker has to say about Willis McGahee, his star running back.
He is so strong. He's just crazy off the charts in numbers. His vertical jump is 40 inches. He runs a 4.3, 940. He's very powerful, very competitive, catches the ball well. He's just developed into a great back for us.
If you want to award the Heisman Trophy on just one season, look no further than that man right there. Again, at a career, you can't look past Dorsey.
Not bad for a guy who started at fullback in the Rose Bowl last year, huh?
Only one game they kept him at fullback. They knew he was going to be a tailback just as soon as they lost Portis. Now the freshman, Damian Rhodes from Manlius, New York, cuts on the inside, and Jonathan Vilma, the leading tackler for these Canes, takes him down.
Well, the Syracuse offense has been able to move the ball, but they've almost had to, with their defense giving up 3 straight games of 500 yards plus. Their offense has been forced to play wide open. Troy Nunes has done it. He's thrown 40-plus passes against Virginia Tech. He might need to throw that many against these guys.
Second down. Pasqualoni's team needing an almost perfect game. Already down 7. The freshman whacked at the 22. Hey, Jack Arute, nice seeing you without a hat on, without an overcoat. The luxury of a dome, my friend.
Well, Brent, yeah, but if you're the Syracuse coaching staff, you wish you didn't have the dome. When we spoke to them yesterday, they said they would have rather played out here in one of their practice fields. They've got a couple of them. They felt like maybe they would have more of an advantage with a warm weather team. But they haven't played outdoors, Brent, since the dome was built in 1980.
Even then, you can see it's 38 degrees outside, some 60 degrees in the dome. Nunes rifles a pass, 35 out to the 42-yard line. 1st and 10, Jamal Riddle, the junior, for 19 yards. He's from Meridian, Connecticut.
Jamal Riddle lately has been a possession receiver. He once was the big play guy, but you see a different formation from Syracuse. They spread out the field. They believe that they're going to have to force Miami to play more assignment football with the option and the quick passes with different formations. That's their only chance. Quick throws, quick options to keep this defense off balance.
Shaken up on the play, so he's coming off to the sidelines. Jared Jones, who's been injured, number 12, also comes over, and now he will get a chance. In this formation is Johnny Morant. Comes out a very late substitution.
This is a different one.
And Syracuse spreads the field now and throws a screen, and that'll be the last time they'll try that against Miami, as Antrell Roll, the sophomore corner, just blew it up.
See, this is the smart thing about Miami. Even though they're great athletes, they're gamers. You know, I mean, they just don't wait for the coach to tell them what to do. They see things happen and they just play, you know, like they've been playing on the playground. You know, if you were in a playground and they lined up 3 guys there, you try to run around them and black pass. That's what he did. Smart players, even though they're great athletes.
2nd down and 10. Jonathan Vilma setting up the defenses. He's now looking at the option. The late pitch to the running back, only about a 4-yard gain. And Morant run out of of bounds. Well, we asked Jonathan Vilma about the problems of playing this complex offense. Here's what he said.
They shift their personnel. They motion out guys and motion guys back in. They jump from one side to the other, shift the formation. And it's just a lot that you have to just be aware of. You have to stay sharp, stay on your feet, and make sure you concentrate on what they're doing.
Not sure that any team in college football shifts personnel as much as Pasqualoni and Syracuse. 3 wide for this 3rd down, and here comes the motion. Nunes and incomplete. And great DJ Williams coverage on that play. Crowd wanted interference. I thought he was right there with perfect timing.
Oh, not only perfect timing, but he held his hands up. He didn't make a dumb play. Great footwork. Number 17 is right there. He's got the 3rd receiver out. Kind of a move back inside. He knocks the ball down, sticks his hands up. Another smart play by a great athlete.
Schaefer hangs it high. Parrish at the 16. Back to about the 20-yard line. Canes up 7. We've got a timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevy. The cars you can depend on, the cars that last. We'll be there. Rocky Mountain Cold, Coors Light, cold down easy. Home Depot, driving down the cost of home improvement. And Sprint, introducing PCS Vision. Clearly a whole new way to look at wireless as you look at the Hendricks Chapel here on the quad at Syracuse University. It was first opened in 1930. 2nd series for Dorsey and the Canes as they break the huddle. It took them 2 plays to travel 80 yards and post an early lead. McGahee is lined up at that tailback spot. He gets his 2nd call of the game. Helmet goes flying, and Syracuse that time did not let him run to space. Josh Thomas, the junior defensive end, is there, and you can see that Big Joseph, number 76, lost his headgear. Let's go to New York now for an update on Pittsburgh, West Virginia. John?
In the backyard brawl, it's Rod Rutherford. What a season he has had. And Larry Fitzgerald, the freshman wide receiver, gets his 10th touchdown catch of the year. Pitt up 7-0.
And here, of course, John, also 7, Dorsey. Parrish for the first down to the 41-yard line. Dumas makes the stop on Roscoe Parrish. Now let us go back on that Miami lineup. We didn't even have time. This is the ATT wireless. No seniors there, but folks, McGahee will be a top 5 draft choice. Write it down right now. He will leave Miami after this season. I'll make that prediction. 2 seniors in that offensive line. A youngster like McGahee at 4'2'8". Are you kidding me? With that power? You bet. Here he comes, looking for daylight. Out to the 44-yard line.
You talk about
the Syracuse lineup shows no seniors. And do they ever miss Mr. Freeney, Gary? 40 sacks a year ago and only 23. Clifton Smith is their leading tackler with 125. The lone senior. Well, look at this defensive backfield. Somewhat surprising to see a veteran group like this having the problems that they have experienced in pass defense here at Hughes this year. 2nd down, Jarrett Payton. Now in the game, missed his block. So Jarrett Payton replaces McGahee, fans on his block. Walker on a safety blitz takes him down. That's a 14-yard loss. And Mr. Payton did not do what his daddy used to do for Chicago.
Watch also Dorsey look to throw the hot. He reads it. He looks to his left. The receiver busts it also. And he said, uh-oh, he knew right away. Dorsey knew he was in trouble. The receiver busted the route, and the running back didn't pick up the blitz.
The 2nd series looks a lot different than the first one. Dorsey from the gun on 3rd and long. There was movement. The nose guard may have made contact. Time was running out on the clock.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense. 5 yards.
That happens to Miami. It's probably the first time they've been in 3rd and long all year. They don't have any plays on their chart over there. They're looking, flipping that card around, and Larry Coker says we don't have any of those plays. We've never been 3rd and 25.
Syracuse is the least penalized team in the Big East. And Miami is number 1 in that category. It's 3rd in forever, so it's the draw play with Peyton. And Miami forced a punt. Good series for Syracuse that time.
Yeah, plus really helped. You know, Syracuse also a little bit of a evolving story for Miami here. It's the first time Syracuse has showed a 3-man line all year, and I'm sure that confused the Miami protection early in this game.
Capshaw under pressure. Syracuse has been outstanding at blocking punts. Fielded at the 30-yard line by Williams. Not much daylight against that Miami speed. On special teams, the Canes come flying. Syracuse, though, with a good defensive serve. Now it's up to News. Timeout.
Brett, let's update you on a couple of injuries from Syracuse. Jamal Riddle, their wideout, has been taken to the locker room. They suspect that he has a severe injury in the shoulder, so they're going to x-ray his shoulder. Now, on the other side, Willis McGahee has tweaked his left knee. The doctors have looked it over. They're not sure whether they're going to clear him to return right away.
Costly tweak as his replacement misses the safety blitz. And on first down, Reyes, going nowhere, is thrown down by McDougal. That's Jerome McDougal from Pompano Beach, one of the seniors in that defensive front.
Everybody's been talking about that teams have been able to run the ball right at Miami. I guess Florida State did it, and people thought maybe they were susceptible to it. But when you really look at them and watch them, that hasn't been the problem. It's when they've been spread out, people have been able to run the ball against them.
Loss of 4 yards on that play. Reyes searches for daylight. Got a good block on the outside, but look at the pressure that is brought by that secondary. Hard-hitting young safeties. With Jack Arute and Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musburger. And our Pacific Life game summary shows us 1 touchdown. And it was number 20 of the season for Willis McGahee, who has since tweaked his knee and is over on the sideline. He's been standing up, as you have seen, and hopefully he's able to return to the game. Noon's middle, first down, snaps it off against tight coverage, and that was Johnny Morant, who did a good job of returning the opening kickoff.
Let's take a look at what Syracuse, we've talked what this offense needs to do to attack this defense a little bit in the open, but to me, you got to be a contrarian against this defense. Keep them guessing. If they think pass, run, just the opposite. Option football will help them be more assignment-oriented, may take some of the aggressive, and you better have a few tricks to get some cheap touchdowns.
Now on first down, the option. Noons pitches. Here's Reyes. He is ridden out at the 46-yard line by Sean Taylor.
A little bit of option. Keep that defense assignment-oriented. Who's got the pitch? Who's got the quarterback? It keeps that Miami defense from heading upfield with their ears bent back all game. Interesting comparison here. George DeLeon, the coordinator for Syracuse, believes he can run the option. Miami believes no one can run the option against them.
Now the fullback for the first down as they pound straight ahead with perhaps the best name in college football, Thump Belton. Speaking of good in college football, be with us tonight at 8 Eastern. Notre Dame, USC, or Florida, Florida State. Folks, those are two of the best rivalries in the college game, and I'm sure that John Saunders will update whichever one you're not watching. And there he is, folks. Thump Belton. Doesn't get any better than that for a fullback, does it?
That's right. Miami's corners line up right at the line of scrimmage, take their man on, and you don't know if it's man or zone at pre-snap every snap.
Play fake. Noons rolls hard to the left. Now he puts it back in the tight end's hands that time. And Lenny Cusimano, the junior from West Patterson, New Jersey.
You know, this defense does not have, obviously, Ed Reed that made so many plays for Miami last year. But Sean Taylor, 220 pounds. When he hits, you go down. And that was the talk when you talk to the Syracuse coaches, they were very impressed with these young safeties and said they're future stars. Actually said more than that, but I'm just going to leave it at stars. They said future all-pros, didn't they, Brad?
Yes, they did. Troy Nunes trying to attack this defense Gary's been telling you about. In the pocket, middle, incomplete. Let's listen to Nunes as he talks about the offense against the Canes.
We're trying to get the chains in our favor, and you know, a lot of teams aren't able to do that. If you know, you get into 3rd and 1, 2 and 3, and that's getting your 3rd down. It's a higher percentage for us to convert, and hopefully, once we get into those, we can you know, make a couple of them keep their offense off the field.
Well, here is one of those 3rd downs right now, needing 7 yards. Exactly what Nunes was talking about. Wanted to stay out of this if he could, but here they are. And it is not easy against this Cane D to get 7. Nunes will try it in the air. Nobody is open. Down with the sack, and it's 4th down. D.J. Williams, number 17.
See, D.J. Williams was sitting there playing man-to-man coverage and then came on at the late blitz when he saw Nunes hesitate. That quickness allowed him to gobble up Nunes. Now, against most defenses, Nunes will scramble and pressure for a 1st down. Against these guys, it's very difficult.
Schaefer hangs it high. Fair catch at the 14-yard line by Roscoe Parrish.
Well, let me give you the priorities for Miami. First is patience, and they did do 2 plays for that, so that's being patient on the first touchdown.
Cross that one out, quarterback. Get rid of that patience.
Well, you don't want to worry. You know Ken Dorsey's going to attack man-to-man coverage, so you have to play some zone against him. He will audible, but basically, trust in Ken. He will put you in the right play, he will audible, and he will put his receivers into routes where they can make those big plays.
No McGahee. With that tweaked knee, he's still on the sidelines. They'll try to get Peyton into the offense. Will Hunter makes the stop. Well, there you can see Miami leading the Big East in scoring, and of course Syracuse last in defense, and number 2 reappears. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Brent, what the doctors have done is they put a big one of those bulky lineman's braces on his left knee, and then they've covered it with some polyethylene, you know, the rubber type brace. So they think that he'll be able to stand up to a tweaking here on the hard turf.
Well, let's see if they throw on 2nd down, and they will. They had 4 wide receivers. Dorsey's got a man wide open. It's Johnson. Into Syracuse territory at the 48-yard line. Andre Johnson, 34 yards. Larry Coker with his outstanding wide receiver, and another big play.
There's beauty and simplicity, and that's what Miami's offense is. When you're going to run a crossing route, you bring a running back underneath it. Dorsey sees the linebacker jump to the running back, and you give it to one of the fastest receivers not anywhere. This guy is big and fast, and he's learning. Rob Jasinski, the offensive coordinator, told me he's still learning to be a receiver. Remember,
Kevin Beard has been lost for the season, a wide receiver with an injury against Pittsburgh. Dorsey goes up again, and there's the man who's filling in, Jason Geathers. He was a running back until this week, started as a wide receiver before the season. Let's go to John Saunders in New York.
Brent, hasn't been a great year for Tennessee. Trying to hold off Kentucky today. Jabari Davis from a yard out. He lost the ball, but the officials ruled he cleared the plane before dumping it. So the Volunteers now up 14-0, looking for their 8th victory of the year. Brent.
Yeah, it has been a
illegal formation.
Season. We had a
only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. On the offense, 5 yards. First down.
Now it is when you switch a running back to wide receiver, and you switch positions. That can happen sometimes early in a game. And they had Jason Geathers, who now is playing wide receiver because of that injury, was lined up out there. Mistake was made, and Ethnic Sands was probably the guilty party as Coker was speaking with him. So it'll be 1st down and 15 now. And here's McGahee picking his way.
Well, he just glides for 5 or 6 yards. McGahee has made, coming into this game, 51 plays of 10 yards or more. He's a big play running back.
I cannot believe that the running back coach, Don Soldinger, and he's outstanding, was a great high school coach in South Florida, tells me that he is the most complete running back they have ever had. He has blitz pickup. He runs with great speed. He's a team player in everything he does. Doesn't turn the ball over. He said he is a cinch #1 draft choice. Play fake by Dorsey. Underneath, the checkoff man, short of the first down. He put it in Quatrine Hill, the redshirt freshman from Sunrise, Florida's hands, and Clifton Smith, the linebacker, ate it up.
Ken Dorsey is showing great patience in his passing game so far. He is not forced to play. I'm not sure I want to play Ken Dorsey in a calm or an indoor game. We had him in the Sugar Bowl when he kind of carved up Florida that game. When he's able to get conditions where he can throw the ball, he's extremely accurate.
A perfect thrower so far. Third down. The blitz doesn't get there. First down on the throw. Roscoe Parrish, another of the freshman receivers. He's a redshirt freshman out of Miami, senior high school. It is so interesting when you look at the roster of this Miami team. It is made up predominantly of football players from South Florida. Then they cherry pick around the United States. Larry Coker gets great players out of California, Texas. California has another freshman quarterback who will be checking in next year out of that great program, Kyle Wright. But Brock Berlin figures to be their starter all the way. The end around, wide open. Out of bounds after an 11-yard gain is Parrish. Well, next Saturday, a triple header. Va-Tech and these Miami Hurricanes, presented by AT&T. Then, can Washington State get to the Rose Bowl? They'll have to beat UCLA. Finally, come down for the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, the rematch. It's Oklahoma and Colorado. In Game 1, Colorado turned it over 4 times. And 2 fumbles and 2 picks as OU won at 27-11.
And we haven't seen the tight end yet, Winslow. Maybe their best player, too. You'll get it.
All day. Touchdown! Sands, the senior from Miami's Carroll City High School, for 23 yards.
If you're a team that plays man-to-man like Syracuse had, and you try to get into a zone concept, you can't be very good at it. You practice man all year. Now you come in and try to play a prevent zone, and Miami and Dorsey is carving it up right now.
And the extra point added by Sievers. 14-0. So Ken Dorsey is perfect on the day. 6 of 6 for 108 yards and 1 touchdown.
Check out Andre Johnson. All he does, he just is key. This was a reverse play. A couple plays before. Coming back, Miami receivers, they block too. Boy, there's a knockout. When you want to play receiver for Miami, you have to be disciplined in your routes. You have to block, and then you let that quarterback safety sneaking up here, trying to take the crossing route. Dorsey makes note. Nobody in the middle of the field. Great protection. Waits all day and throws another right in stride. Inside zone concept. Look at that. Not used to playing zone concept in Syracuse. Out of sync, and Dorsey just carves it up.
2 wins away from going back to the national championship. The Buckeyes of Ohio State await Jim Trussell and the great job they turned in this year in the Big Ten. Trussell, before the season started, visited Larry Coker and the Miami staff for 1 day. Larry said he'd never met him, was glad to have him. And Coker then said, I want a reciprocal day up in Buckeye land. I'd like to go up before Christmas and check out Ohio State if we get to play him.
He was an assistant there, so he knows how to get there, right?
Exactly. It'll come out on the 20.
I think really to catch Miami, you really have to obviously catch them on a day when they may be looking in different directions. And in this perfect climate right here, it looks like Miami's ready to play football today.
Disheartening for the Orangemen, who were moving the ball. First of all, to start the game, they had an excellent kickoff return, couldn't do anything. The last time they were moving the ball, then stalled, had to punt. And twice, Dorsey and the Canes have driven it down their throat and lead by 2 scores. Rhodes, the freshman, highly recruited freshman, working the option. Pitch is on the ground. Rhodes on one hop takes it out of bounds. Well, let's check in with John Saunders as the penalty flags come flying. John, what do you got?
Brent, you know, if Miami does stumble and lose the last 2 games, winner of this game will be the champion in the Big East. But right now playing for second place. Rasheed Marshall goes 19 yards, backs into the end zone. And 10-7 now. West Virginia has grabbed the lead over Pitt.
Exactly what is John Saunders dreaming about? Lose their last 2 games. Young man, aren't you aware that this is a 32-game winning streak? My goodness.
It's hockey season. John gets a little distracted sometimes, right? Personal foul after the play, a dead ball foul, I believe. It looked like they kind of waved it on both guys here. 5 one way and 15 the other way.
Let's check in with Jack.
Dead ball. Late hit.
Penalties has been a bugaboo for these Miami Hurricanes all year. In fact, there were 99 penalties for 865 yards coming into this game, and they've already got 2. So what does Larry Coker do? Like most coaches, he brings in, I mean, maybe 3. He brings in a couple of referees to 2 of his practices. This week, because of the noise and the concern about the dome, he used 4 on Wednesday.
Didn't work so far. He's had a couple of penalties here, Jack. First down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Rhodes for the corner. Hello, Miami speed.
Yeah, that's really the belief of Miami. Vilma can get to the play. All of the linebackers, McIntosh, Vilma, Williams, all run so well that they can run underneath blocks, get to the play, and play the pitch east to west, and there's just no option. It really, really scares this defense.
They look like a team that is just taking care of business. They were very professional in their walkthrough here yesterday. Now Rhodes gets a good block from the fullback, but again, 3 Miami defenders led by 99. Andrew Williams fly to the ball, and there is a penalty flag. If this is against Miami, Coker will bring an entire crew of officials to practice next week.
Yeah, I think it was either Sykes or Taylor came across from the face. We got the face mask as you saw the penalty.
5-yard face mask on the defense. Second down.
Now Syracuse must be contrarian here. The word that I kind of brought to this football game that I really want them to do. Now they're ready to run the option and throw the ball. They need to do something different. Option, throw, try to get a trick play if they expect to move the ball.
Well, we'll wait until the second quarter begins to find out what they plan here on the second down and short. McGahee's 20th touchdown of the year. Then Dorsey fires one in, and it's 14-0 Miami. What a run this has been for Miami. And folks, here's what's scary. Gary, they are more impressive in person than when you watch them on tape.
Yeah, I've done games before, and yes, they're more professional. I think this streak has really got them really decided that they want this streak. They want back-to-back, and they can smell the finish line like almost like a marathon runner right now.
So on 2nd and 1, the Syracuse offense keeps it pretty simple with Chris Davis, the fullback. He's a senior from Tampa, Florida, and he's close enough that the officials are going to bring the chains out to measure this. You know, when you talk about the Big East and Coach Pasqualoni, he said we've made a big deal out of going to Gainesville and Knoxville, but in his study of tapes, he thinks that both Pittsburgh and West Virginia are just as good as those 2 SEC schools. In fact, his belief is that the Big East, if anything, is underrated this year, and he took nothing away from Miami. He all but told us we have to play a near perfect game to win against Miami, and so far it has been far from perfect for Coach Pasqualoni.
I think you must be able to do both. If you're one-dimensional, they'll eat you up.
Ball on the Hughes 40-yard line. H-back look from the tight end. Off the fake, they'll still bring Rhodes. Rhodes slips around, and he's out of bounds at about the 44-yard line.
One of the things that when you play a Miami team you're going to have to deal with is they put their safeties about 10 to 12 yards deep and play you with 7 people in the box. They just say, listen, we are not going to give up the big play. They play 2 safeties deep zone, 2 safeties deep man, and they force you. Everyone else in college football is putting the 8th guy in the box. Miami refuses to do it.
Syracuse has to get the ball in 81's hands sooner or later. Nunes is in trouble. He will not beat you like a Donovan McNabb. He's not a strong runner. Let's go back and look at the Q's offense.
Yeah, they've tried to do different things, quick screens, but the instincts and speed of this Miami defense, you know, this young secondary, they started out inexperienced, but they've played games now, and they're great athletes, and now they're understanding the college game, and their instincts now are way up, and they're much calmer than they were, 5-6 games ago.
Here's that 3rd and long situation again that Hughes was hoping to avoid here today. Nunes deflected, incomplete. Diving attempt by Roger McIntosh for the interception. He's a redshirt freshman out of Gaffney, South Carolina. He plays a strong side linebacker for the Canes, and big Vince Wilfork, the sophomore defensive tackle, who's going to be a great defensive lineman for the Canes down the road.
Well,
deflected the ball.
He's there. He's there already. He's not a starter yet, but he's just as good as anyone in the country, a difference maker at tackle.
Parrish is back to return this punt. And Miami will accept whatever field position they get on the roll here to about the Syracuse roll at 20-yard line. Dorsey and the Canes just about ready again. The drive summary: 80 yards, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 punt, and a 14-0 lead, and they bring it out again. McGahee is the running back.
McClain sneaking up. Dorsey goes to an audible.
Looks back, had daylight with Parrish. First down, a 14-yard gain for Mr. Dorsey. Gary?
He even looks off on a hitch. When you look at this guy, he's not going to wow you with his arms, but the mind game, my old buddy Bernie Kosar, great vision, great anticipation, his moxie of being tough out there, leadership, and he performs in the clutch. And what I like him is defense makes the movies like a chess master. He's always 2 moves ahead of you. You better know what you're doing when you're disguising defenses because he's seen it all.
On 1st and 10, here comes McGahee patiently looking for a hole that just did not open. And he stopped the line of scrimmage. Let's find out about the Volunteers. Let's go to John.
Working against Kentucky, Casey Clausen going to work once again. Little fake. Then he sets up and just lofts this one 35 yards to a wide open Derek Tinsley. Touchdown. Pretty easy one. 21-0 is the lead. Brent.
John, we had a cameraman who came in here and guaranteed me this week that Kentucky would play him to the wire. Wait till I find that rascal. 2nd down. Tennessee winning big. Play fake. Dorsey fires one. Johnson's got it on the move. Inside the 25-yard line. Keon Walker finally gets over there with coverage. We take a look at our Aflac trivia question as Dorsey completed that pass. We all know he's 36-1, folks. Which team beat him? I know some of you Miami fans have got the answer right now. But which team beat Ken Dorsey? You got to go back to 33 games ago, and that Ibis looked all tangled up down there.
Yeah, he's helping.
He was cable boy.
He got his union card.
32 yards on that pass play, and McGahee is stopped at the line of scrimmage again. That's twice in a row now. Number 2. That's it. Gonna try it again.
Oh yeah, he'll be paying union dues. You can see Syracuse. They're going to load the box. They're trying to force Miami to throw the ball downfield. Chris Rippon, their defensive coordinator, said we must force Dorsey to pump the ball. We want our linebackers deep and make them throw it underneath. But if you don't get pressure on number 11, he hasn't thrown anything but strikes on the paint all day today. Everything's been perfect.
Second down. Steps up, fires the tire to the 4-yard line, and Gaithers made the catch inside the 5-yard line. If he'd been able to stay on his feet, he probably would have scored. Jason Gaithers switched from running back to wide receiver from Delray Beach, Florida.
Just a square in. Gaithers gained 199 yards running the ball. You see the crossing route over here underneath. Too much time for Dorsey, and another strike right on the paint. Dorsey just all the time in the world.
He's only 9 of 9.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But he's certainly not a Heisman Trophy candidate
Well,
if you read some of the columns around the country. Are you kidding me?
I've got mine in ink, and I've got him on the top. If he wins them all, he's going to get it on my vote, I'll tell you that.
McGahee, Clifton Smith, their fine linebacker, makes the stop. And on this series, anyhow, this Syracuse defense has been able to stop number 2. They have jammed his running holes pretty good, but in the process, they've left it open for number 11, and he's shredding them.
And Paul Pasqualoni knew that. He knew he had to gamble stopping the running game, and if Dorsey had a bad game, threw a couple knucklers, maybe he just tries to force something in downfield, but he hasn't had the force. Everyone's been open.
3 wide. Dorsey to throw. Wings it. Touchdown, Johnson. Number 5 coming across, and Mr. Dorsey stays perfect on the day. He has now completed 10 straight passes, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
It was going to be to fade to the outside. Andre Johnson says, you're not going to throw to me outside. Double coverage he beats to the outside. Perfect defensive call, and number 5 and number 11 are better than the call.
Miami leads it by 3 touchdowns. Number 11, Ken Dorsey, perfect. Johnson on the day, 4 catches, 89 yards, and this touchdown as he breaks free, and Dorsey rifles it. Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Pontiac, fuel for the soul. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, and investments rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. BU, nothing's better than Dr. Pepper. Well, there's the Krause College building. Folks, there's a bell up there. There's a bell tower in that beautiful old building. They ring it whenever the football team wins. It's been quiet this fall.
Yeah. He might be able to go home and watch a different game on TV. I don't think he's going to have to ring today either. Ugh.
So the Canes have hit him with a 3-pack here in the first half. We got a penalty flag on the kickoff. Penalty flag on the kickoff. Some of that Miami speed. Another one. We've got flags all over the field.
Yeah, that's a record. We got 4 flags on the field. See, all these guys know this game, basically national television. All the referees, officials want to get on. It was my flag. Nope, it was my flag. I saw that first.
Now, Tom DeJoseph's crew with Paul King. His umpire. There's Tom. He used to do Weston, Connecticut high school football games back in the old days when he was growing up.
These guys all love football, don't they? We were chatting with them. They just love to watch football and be involved in football.
We know that the first one was offside on Miami. There's that one. And we got this one against Syracuse. Now, Larry coming out. Now, Paul, he wants a little explanation. And, oh, boy, this could be a tough day at the office. Head linesman is over there explaining it. So Troy Gray's told him what the situation is.
Offside on the kicking team. Holding on the return team. Will offset the fouls. Re-kick.
There we are. And we'll reset. We're live in Syracuse. 38 degrees outside. Inside, as you see on our Pacific Life game summary, it's hurricane weather. Send up the storm flag. McGahee's 20th of the season. Dorsey is on a roll. 10 consecutive completions. 2 touchdowns, 177 yards.
Ken's in for a shock when he gets in the NFL. He's not going to have that much time to throw. I got a warning for him.
I got another one. They won't be that wide open.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've been watching Joey Harrington struggle in Detroit with that. Thinking, boy, they're not as open as they were. And
John Elway had the all-time greatest line for me, Gary. When I asked him what the difference was after his first year, he said, the field in the NFL is so much smaller. And that really sums it up.
This guy just get open by a foot. You better put it in there in the NFL.
High kickoff, fielded 1 yard deep by Rhodes. Rhodes burst to the 26-yard line. And Jack, I can remember when Rhodes was one of the highly recruited youngsters out here in the Northeast.
Yeah, Brent, he's a true freshman. He's got a wealth of experience under the dome here, though. Last year, before he ever donned a Syracuse jersey, on his first handoff at the manliest high school state sectional finals, he took the handoff all the way for a touchdown. First time he ever handled the ball in the dome, and he scored a TD.
You know, Jack, yesterday I watched the Class C state championship. They had a junior tailback by the name of Mike Hart on the Onondaga team. They won for back-to-back years. Here's a nice running play for Syracuse. Out to midfield. Reyes back on the field. And the sophomore bolts 22 yards. That's their best-looking running play, Gary.
Well, that's a nice 1-2 combination. Reyes, just a sophomore. Rhodes, a true freshman. Reyes, slasher, explosive-type running back. And that Miami team kind of splitting out a little wide, thinking east-west, and all of a sudden you gash them with one of those inside runs. You better do it all against Miami, and Syracuse is trying to do that, but big plays have stopped them on defense.
Draw play. Reyes steps neatly inside the 45-yard line. Sykes, the strong safety, makes the stop. Well, earlier now we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Ken Dorsey, 36-1. Which team beat him? You've got to go back to September of 2000. It was the Washington Huskies. And in the second half, Dorsey rallied the Canes. But then the final interception. Washington wins it 34-29, September 9th, 2000. And now today, perfect on the afternoon. Nunes has separation, and he overthrew Johnny Morant that time.
Johnny Morant, big 6'4", great speed, has been in and out of a little trouble here at Syracuse. Pasqualoni has kind of made him earn his way back on, but he has the deep thing. Vince Wilfork inside. This guy takes up 2, sometimes 3 blockers. He's an NFL style tackle where he forces those offensive linemen to gather him and then free up those middle linebackers behind him to make all the tackles.
That's Donnelly, a tight end in motion. Reyes for the first down, finds daylight, breaks free. From behind at the 20-yard line, Antrell rolled the corner with a good lick. But Reyes giving Syracuse a chance to get on the board with that 22-yard run.
Offensive line, a trap block inside this time. That's what really freed him. The guard pulls and gets Woolfolk, gets it inside, and Woolfolk's block. And you see Reyes get into the secondary. The Miami defense sees this 21-0 lead and kind of yawning out there right now, and Syracuse is still playing football.
Reyes, not much that time, and Wilfork, the first defender to hit him. And let's check in with Jack.
Well, Walter Reyes grew up and played his high school football in Youngstown, Ohio. Sound familiar? Oh, yeah, he was named the top running back in Ohio in 2000. Last year, the same title went to Ohio State's Maurice Clarett, who's going to the national championship game. He may invite his cousin, Walter Reyes, to watch him play in the Fiesta Bowl.
That would be something. Clarett's had just a wonderful year for the Buckeyes, a difference maker for him. Rhodes in the game. Reyes lost his shoe. Throw back on the right side, and Miami brings force late to the attack that time. Sean Taylor. And he took it out he delivered a thump on Belton himself that time, and he was a little shaken up.
Well, Thump Belton deserves a little belt that time because he missed his blitz pickup, And Nunes did an excellent job of avoiding DJ Williams and dumping the ball off to Belton. And just like his name, he got hit big time. Better hold on to the ball when those safeties and DBs come up against Miami.
Here's 3rd and 2. Rhodes, the running back. Draw play, and Miami. Oh, are you kidding me? They were almost there before the football was handed off. DJ Williams, Vince Wilfork, they just met at the running back, and there was no chance. No chance.
You can see DJ in a blitzing position, comes inside big number 75, blows it up. Guy's almost impossible to block one-on-one. Wilfork just gets in there, DJ, and they meet on the draw play.
Now can Barber get Syracuse on the board with this 33-yard attempt? No good. For Pasqualoni, it's a tough day at the office. Timeout. 10 consecutive completions for Dorsey to 5 different receivers, 4 of them to Johnson. Closing in on Testaverde's 14. Can he get there? Here's for 11, and he's going for the down. And his first incompletion of the game. Now, we asked Vilma to describe his quarterback, Ken Dorsey. Here's what he said.
His leadership, he's a real leader. I've noticed that about him since I've been here as a freshman. I played with him now for 3 years, and he's never changed. He's been the same through the good times, through the bad times. He's always just been a player wanting to win games, and that's what makes him special.
And that's why the players on this team have such high respect for their California quarterback. Draw play, McGahee ran to trouble, cut back into a bigger hole to the 23-yard line. Walker, the strong safety from Hoboken, New Jersey, making a lot of stops for Syracuse.
Syracuse defense doing a good job on the running game right now. I don't know if McGahee's kind of testing his knee out a little bit. Doesn't seem quite as explosive, but the linebackers, Smith, Dumas, and Scanlon have all done a nice job of plugging those open holes.
A difference in this game, huh?
3-man line for Syracuse now. Something new they have not shown.
It gets no pressure, wide open receiver, and there's Winslow's first reception of the football game. Kellen Winslow, son of the NFL Hall of Famer, his first reception, he was wide open, 33 yards, and only a 3-man rush. Gary, there's some huge holes out there that Miami is exploiting.
Well, this is a big bust by the corner that time. No one underneath him. They're playing zone defense. Oliver, number 3. He's got a tight end. I know he runs like a receiver. You see Dorsey looking left, comes back to his 3rd receiver, but you see number 30, Will Hunter, right there, the corner. You need to drop. There's no one in front of you right there. Again, Syracuse not used to playing zone. They're not very good at it.
210 yards. Dorsey has thrown for. Here comes that end around look. Here comes Sands. Dorsey blocking for him. And nothing much doing on that. Well, it's Thanksgiving time, so that means it's Skins time here on ABC Sports. Coming up next, the Tiger Man. Off that big win, Phil Mickelson will be there. Marco Mira is there. Freddie Couples. The ConAgra Foods Skins game. That's always a delight for golf and even non-golf fans to watch the Skins game afterwards. 2nd down.
Don't play Musburger and Skins. He plays from the black tees. He's hard to beat.
2nd down. Drops. Gathers. Didn't look it into the hands.
First time, that time Syracuse came with a blitz. They attacked Dorsey. Dorsey had to move his feet a little bit and threw the ball inaccurately. Really his first bad pass of the game. The deep ball, you're going to miss those. That's the first time he hasn't hit a guy right in stride all game. Trying to get this crowd involved. You think anybody believes around here? Maybe the guys in green.
3rd and 10. got Winslow again for the first down. He bails him out. And Winslow to the 26-yard line before he's forced out of bounds by Steve Gregory.
Well, they had to replace the best tight end in college football last year in Jeremy Shockey, and they might have done it with a guy just as athletic as him in Winslow. He's a wide receiver, speed, 230 pounds, and catches anything near him.
Rob Chudzinski, a former tight end, is the offensive coordinator. And Winslow studied Shockey, always was in his office, looking at tapes. He followed him around on the team last year. Dorsey for the end zone, incomplete. But the other thing that he told Jack Arute and me was Winslow would always come in and say, "Coach, let me see some pictures of you. You were tight end. Let me see some pictures." And Rob would always say, "I can't find any. I just can't find any of the offense," you know?
I wonder if we've been able to find any. That'd be the trick, right?
There's Cobia coming up on the Capital One halftime show. John and Terry have scores and highlights from Times Square Stadium in New York. So they'll get you up to date on Tennessee, Kentucky, and of course Pittsburgh, West Virginia. That one was close. Kobe is shaken up.
Yeah, that was the ball was thrown to Kobe, and he laid out for the pass, and it looked like he kind of landed on his elbow. You see Dorsey, he just attacks all areas of the field, especially when you're playing zone. If it's man-to-man, he's going deep on you, and not a lot of bad things. It's not like he's chinking them here in the backfield either. He's throwing the ball downfield when they give him the opportunity.
Second down, draw play. McGahee can't run away from the back of that time. Dumas brings him down. Speaking of West Virginia, let's go to John in New York for an update.
Brent, you want to see one of the best goal line runs that you'll see in a while? Avon Coburn, he stopped, right? He's nowhere in that pile. They got him down. Oops. Who was that went out to the right? That was Coburn. He's already in the back of the end zone with a touchdown. West Virginia goes on top. Extra point pending, 16-10. Brent.
Did you say Coburn or Houdini? I couldn't believe he got over there. He's a good back, though, John. We've heard nice things about him, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
Kobe is holding that wrist rather delicately as he goes to the trainer's room. Third down, shotgun. Down at the 30-yard line.
It's only the 9th sack of the year against Dorsey, and I think that the defense, they all went strong that time and confused Ken Dorsey. Casa got him that time. The 9th time all year that someone has been able to sack Dorsey.
So the long field goal attempt. The officials getting things sorted out.
Yeah. I think the officials are counting to see if there was 12 players out there.
Jack, what's the status report on Kobe?
Dead ball.
They've
against
taken
the
Kobe
offense.
into the
Fouls
locker room.
offset.
Brent, he has dislocated his shoulder.
And that's why he was carrying that arm so
holding
delicately.
it very delicately.
Right.
He had offsetting penalties, if you saw that. That happened way downfield between receiver and the cornerback.
Capshaw, the punter, is the holder. This is a 48-yard attempt for receivers.
He's making it from 60 in practice.
This one is blocked. Syracuse football. Steve Gregory, the redshirt freshman from Staten Island, New York, blocks the field goal attempt.
Gregory's a backup corner, and he's done a great job. He's got 20 pass broken up, 18 broken down, 2 interceptions. Comes right off the corner and lays out and gets it before it gets too high and past him.
Good move by Gregory at the end. Timeout. And Gregory's been under fire much of this season whenever you watch videotapes of the Syracuse defense, and he stood up well. Now, let's talk about the Miami defense, and let's talk about the man who's coordinating them, Randy Shannon. He was a member of a one-time national championship team. DJ Williams is so much improved, as Gary Danielson has been pointing out here this afternoon. Let's see what happens on the option. Reyes trying to get the corner, got it. At the 42 for a first down. A reminder on Monday night, the Jets and the Raiders. 9 Eastern time. Rich Gannon and all those receivers. But if you haven't seen Chad Pennington, take a look. For my money, he's as good as any young quarterback in the league right now. The son of a coach. There's his pass efficiency rating behind only Mark Bulger. And who's going to give the Rams a 1+ for Mr. Bulger for next year, by the way. Now backing up Kurt Warner, who's returned to the lineup down there. 1st and 10. Nunes underneath is caught at the 47-yard line by Morant. Well, Syracuse has not scored against Miami in 9 straight quarters. That covers 2 shutouts back into the game even before that, when they finally scored early in that game. And of course, they have not scored here inside of 2 minutes. They have not been able to solve Randy Shannon. He is an assistant coach who deserves a long look as a possible head coach. He's paid his dues. He's been a coordinator, and there are few defensive coordinators in this country. He's upstairs in the booth right now who've done a better job than Randy Shannon. When you consider the number of stars that he's lost to the National Football League over the last 2 years, and this defense is still throwing shutouts. They win in Gainesville. They win in Knoxville. They win wherever they're supposed to. Timeout. Well, Gary, what do you make of the Hurricanes now?
Well, I'm really not surprised. I think they've matured more on defense than I thought. DJ Williams, as we were talking, is a much better linebacker. You know, he had that 1 year at fullback. Nunes has his hands full with these guys. I don't know if he has enough weapons to really attack this defense. I think to attack them, you have to have a power running back. Oh, let me think. Maybe like Ohio State. Maybe that might be a way to attack them. I think a power running back is what would be the best against this defense.
Nunes fires complete in there. They finally got the ball into the hands of number 81, David Tyree, the senior from Montclair, New Jersey. You cannot believe how many snaps Tyree is on the field for. He's on all the special teams here. He has blocked 3 punts this year, and we are keeping an eye on him. You can see for the season he's caught 32 passes, and he finally gets in the scorecard here with that catch as Nunes underneath. And that was DJ Williams, who was running Jared Jones down. Let's check in with Jack.
Well, Brent, you talk about Troy Nunes. He's had his up years here. He's had his down years. He's never really been accepted by the fans because he's become the focus of some of the lack of success for the Syracuse team. But he is a 5th-year senior, and he said that he decided that he would come back to this year and play his final time because he said, I don't know what else to do with myself. He said, I decided to come back because you can't find the camaraderie and the friendships that college football presents.
You know, the coaches say he was unfairly booed, too, when things were going badly. And so I asked Troy about how he stayed motivated, kept his helmet at the game after being booed by the home crowd.
Well, I know who my friends are, and I know who my friends aren't when times are going bad. So, you know, I'll get over it.
Spoken like a quarterback.
Yeah, you have to live with the good, the bad, don't you?
You really do. You know you're the focal point. If you played the position, you know when things are going bad, they boo you, the coach, and the offensive coordinator in no particular order.
Let's go back to why he became the starter. Michael Vick. Syracuse thought they had him signed, sealed, and delivered to replace Donovan McNabb. He was going to come in as McNabb was a senior, travel for 1 year, and then take over. But because of the influence of Vick's high school coach, he went to Virginia Tech, and that slowed the Syracuse recruiting process. And folks, they probably have not caught up from that. Pass is complete, and DJ Williams there on pass coverage, but it's a first down at the 25. Johnny Morant.
Well, Nunes is doing a good job. He's very accurate with his throws. I mean, Miami's not going to let you have a lot of easy throws with soft zone. They're going to make you force the ball and throw accurately, and Nunes has done a nice job here.
There's a minute 5 to work with, using the gun, firing to wide open Jones. He stops the clock. Out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Inside of a minute with which to work. I think they have 1 timeout remaining.
Syracuse's offensive line, they had to replace 4 starters this year. Of course, towards the end of the season, they should be ready to go. Nick Romeo, the center, is the only returning starter. That's why Syracuse stumbled early, but they've done a decent job at pass protection. And I think the game plan of going inside-outside option, bootleg, has kind of kept that front 4 at odds.
Tyree is out to the right. Hit on the release and hit hard from the backside. There's Green, number 55, who was closing in. He's a senior from Camden, New Jersey. Inside, comfortable 60 degrees. Last minute of the first half. Ken Dorsey, 12 of 15. 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. Willis McGahee, the other touchdown. The remarkable calmness that Dorsey has demonstrated throughout his career with the Hurricanes. 3rd down. Nunes hit on the release again, but he's got Tyree underneath. Dives, but he was out of bounds. Very close as he went for that pylon down there in the corner. At the 1-yard line, you can see where the football is marked.
Boy, Troy Nunes did a great job right here. He gets it. But watch this block by number 12, Jared Jones, as Tyree comes underneath. Nunes is going to get a helmet right as he lets go of the ball. Now watch the block to the top. Jared Jones, number 12, gets 2 guys on that play to spring Tyree out. Jared Jones, the ex-quarterback, got 2 of them.
Syracuse looking for a lift. Reyes is the running back. Here is Reyes. Twist to the end zone. Touchdown, Syracuse.
Well, that streak's over. You got to feel good about that. No more of those streaks up, and admire Paul Pasqualoni's team fighting against a terrific football team and keeping their head in this football game. Nice drive, and Nunes did a wonderful job on that drive.
Something that the Orangemen can build on. They can go into the locker room. Hughes swings the gate for the extra point. Barber, who's been shaky, has been low on a lot of extra point attempts. Not this time. 21-7. Now watch as Reyes, and haven't we seen this form by a lot of good running backs? Watch him as he spins, and that frees him to the end zone. Well, Reyes scored the touchdown, but credit number 81, Tyree. His 2 catches so far today for 33 yards. Now, folks, look where he is. He will be on the kickoff team. This is the play that set it up as Tyree makes it to the 1-yard line. Now, normally wide receivers would go out to the sideline and watch. Not number 81. He is the wedge buster. This is not just somebody coming down the field to make the tackle, folks. This is your wedge buster, number 81. That is remarkable for a wide receiver to be used that way. We'll track him. And they get a chance to close in on Gathers, and they do. Fumble! Fumble! He reached back on it.
Oh, my.
Jason Gathers may have saved himself a benching, ladies and gentlemen. Nursing a 21-7 lead. No reason to even come out at all. Just take a knee, bring it on the 20. Take a watch now.
Reaches out with his right hand, I think. Big hit. Is it? Reaches out, the ball's loose, and watch this. Reaches out and just with the glove swoops it back in with one hand. Woo! That's when you play in Miami, you want the ball and you want to run with the ball, and that time took an unnecessary gamble, and Miami almost made it a football game with a fumble right there.
And obviously, Dorsey takes the knee and lets that clock start to run out here.
Miami obviously knows the clock's going to run down, and that's it they're going to do.
They want no part of this down here. They don't want that ball snapped at all. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Coach, outside of a couple of miscues near the end of the half, how did it go for you?
Well, I think pretty well. Honestly, the drive they had at the end of the half, we didn't like that. We didn't want them to go in at halftime momentum, and they did a good job of that. We've got to get our spirits back up, our energy back up. We've got to play good defense in the second half and continue to move the ball on offense.
Thanks, Coach.
Larry Coker. He has never, ever experienced defeat as a head coach. He's up 14 at the half.
Coach, Ken Dorsey is 12 of 15, 259 yards. They're killing you in the air.
I know that. They're killing us on the dig routes and the crossing routes.
So what did you do to try and change that?
Well,
we're going
to try to get the linebackers back a little bit. We're going to try to play a little bit more man than we played in the first half.
Brent, they're going to abandon that zone.
All right. All right, Coach Arute, thanks for that insight. One thing is for sure, though, Gary. They must find a way to slow down Ken Dorsey. This is going to be over in a heartbeat. Miami gets the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, more than coverage, I think they have to put pressure on Ken Dorsey. No matter what, if it's man or zone, Dorsey's hot today. He's throwing the ball. If they don't pressure him,
but nobody gets pressure on him.
Okay, NFL, you bring in Dwight Feeney, you come back, and you just got to, no matter what, if you let Dorsey stand there for 5 seconds, he's going to beat you.
Yeah, absolutely. He has had just an unbelievable career. 36-1, and yet everywhere I go, people seem to be searching for reasons not to vote for him for the Heisman Trophy. I can't understand the negative vibrations.
I'll take back-to-back championships and undefeated and let somebody else have the Heisman.
That is the truth.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Schaefer to kick it off. Can the Orangemen tighten up the defense against Dorsey at the start of the second half? Jason gathers. Still short of the 20-yard line. So Tyree, number 81, and friends did a good job that time. Here's our Pacific Life game summary. Third down conversions. Well, it's at least 50% for Cuse.
Absolutely, and that's because they've kept it in a situation where they can do it. And the other thing, Brent, is Troy Nunes has had a good first half. I mean, he has really come through for Syracuse. He stood in the pocket, he's run the option, and he has given Syracuse to make this a football game. Has given them a chance to make it a football game. Now it's up to the defense to get a stop.
So back to number 2. Okay, he with his helmet down crosses the 20-yard line. And Smith. But I want to go back and talk about number 81, David Tyree, the senior wide receiver from Montclair, who is a wedge buster. Look at him split too. There's holding against him. He's got to shake that off and keep going. Despite that foul, he got down, helped break up the protection. And for a wide receiver, not bad, folks. Pretty dang good. Dorsey's play fake got a lot of time. Dropped. And that was Gregory. Credit number 25. Excellent coverage that time on Parrish. Now, Ken Dorsey, if we go back, this is his mark in the first half for 229 yards. 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He came into this game red hot off the Pittsburgh game of a week ago. In the second half, if you combine that with the first half, folks, that's blazing.
That's 600 yards.
Now he needs this one to keep this drive going. Got it underneath to Winslow. First down, Miami. Nice looking pattern that time as they brought Winslow in underneath Parrish.
That was the option route that Miami has always run. Even Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, old tight end, has run that option route for Miami. And I get the feeling that Dorsey, when he needs a play, looks to Winslow just like he looked to Shockey. When they feel like they can be stopped, they go to the mismatch of that receiver against a linebacker, and it's almost impossible to cover. Remember last year, all those plays Shockey would make? Same thing. Winslow gets on him, pushes off, falls right there.
First down and 10. Penalty flag. The flag is thrown right away. Dorsey, for Sands, Gregory, and friends were back deep. That time it was Keon Walker, number 28, who got a hand on the ball, but there was a flag thrown very early.
Yeah, I think Miami moved. It looked like to me right before the snap.
Illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty.
That's Sands again, too. It's Sands both times, wasn't it? Geathers was in the game also that time, who's an ex-running back, just moved there the first time. So 2 guys that aren't used to playing a lot are in the football game, and they did not line up at the line of scrimmage. The linesman will give you the mark. If you look over to him as you line up, he'll let you know whether you're in a legal formation or not with his hand gestures.
Dorsey now 241 yards. McGahee, the 30-yard line, a little bit short of the original line of scrimmage.
McGahee looked like he's taken off that wrap on his knee as he's come out. Yes, he does not have the brace or the wrap on. Never really exploded on a run since he tweaked that knee that Jack talked about. Looked like he went out at halftime and said, heck with this, Dorsey's starting to get some Heisman votes. I'm coming out here. I want to run the ball.
Second and 11. 61 yards of the 82. A touchdown run. First score of the game for the Canes. Going deep, got Johnson. 15, 10. Short of the end zone and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Number 11. 68 more yards. Folks, he has already thrown for over 300 yards. But he's not a Heisman candidate, right? I forgot. You've got to be kidding.
There's a lot of people that are a little bit mean-spirited about Ken Dorsey, if you ask me. All the guy does is go to school, throw passes, get his team to work hard, watch his film, shows up every day in practice and works his guys and can throw a beautiful ball like that. And people don't understand what it's like to play quarterback on a streak. You've got to keep your team involved every week, every practice, and he's a great leader. Might be his best attribute.
That was Hill, the redshirt freshman from Sunrise, Florida. It was his turn for the touchdown. So the young man bangs into the end zone, and that could be a killer as far as Syracuse is concerned. They thought they were back in this with that touchdown late in the first half, but as Gary suggested, Miami was in effect toying with them. They just kind of fell asleep over there, it looks like. And now they come out with the first drive of the second half, and Dorsey just picks up where he left off. He's now 14 of 18, 300 yards. Hill for the short touchdown. Severs adds the extra point, and the #1 team in the nation is well on its way to Tempe. After this one, there's a game, but it's at home against Virginia Tech. Timeout. Throw for a freshman, his first touchdown, but a big tip of the helmet to number 5. Johnson's on the phone. 68 yards. His career.
Look at that bicep and muscle right there for the Big East 60-yard sprint champion and 100-meter sprint champion. 223 pounds of speed.
So they come in armed with the best quarterback in the Big East, the best running back in the Big East, and the best wide receiver in the Big East.
The best nightlife in the Big East, too.
What do you...
Maybe there's a connection there. I'm not sure. Here's the play action pass you saw early in the game. Ken Dorsey told us that you got to keep the running game going so we can do the play action passes. When Dorsey let this ball go, look at Johnson adjust to that ball. 6 or 7 yards, he faded to that pass and made Dorsey look like that pass was, made that pass from Dorsey look like it was perfect.
Nightlife. I thought Joey's restaurant was pretty good last
good
night.
nightlife.
For an Italian restaurant, that was outstanding.
Especially that great toast you gave last night and everything to us.
Hey, you liked it because I picked the check up.
Yeah, you did.
Here's Rhodes. Crosses the 15. Well, we go back on Nunes, who finished on a very promising note. Made it 21-7, and Gary, you had nice things to say about him, but he comes back out, and now he's down 28-7.
Hey, 12 for 19 against this Miami defense is not a bad deal. I mean, you look, his defense can't really stop him. He knows he's under pressure to score a lot of points, but he can't try to force it. He just can't. He does not have enough weapons.
Frank Beamer will come in with a plan to run the ball, probably, and no doubt. He's got a good power running game, but remember, they lost a wild shootout here at Syracuse. There's the pitch now to Rhodes. Look at DJ Williams at a foot race. And Rhodes, with the speed, was able to elude number 17.
Incredible, that outside linebacker reacting to that pitch.
Top of the hour, inside in Syracuse, just after 3 o'clock. 2 degrees centigrade outside. They give you Fahrenheit first. So 2 degrees
we're
is what?
We're close to the border, that's why.
Is that why we get the centigrade?
A lot of
down?
Canadians.
Now, listen, we're just a little bit above freezing at 2, right?
Right.
Gary, you understand that?
No, it's just above, yes.
See? Okay.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
live right, actually, I live north of Canada.
We're down.
Do you know
I'll
that?
figure that out in a
Do
moment.
you know that?
Yeah, you know you do. I know. Let's get an update on West Virginia. John Saunders.
Brent, they are marching against Pittsburgh. 3 plays, 85-yard drive here. Rasheed Marshall looking for Phil Braxton. Runs out of a tackle and then tosses a strike. Braxton takes it in. 79 yards for the touchdown as West Virginia extends their lead to 24-10. And, oh, by the way, Oklahoma State is up 2 touchdowns on Oklahoma. It's early. And, by the way, take it easy on the Canadians, guys.
We forgot about Big John down there.
Yeah.
Indeed. There's the pitch now to Rhodes, and he will not get away from number 95, Jerome McDougal from Pompano Beach. You know, I am shocked. I talked to Mark Stoops, the third of the Stoops brothers. He's on this Miami defensive staff, and I'll tell that story here in a moment.
Oh, that's okay, Brent. Just number 95. We're just highlighting it just to show why it's hard to run that option against these Miami defensive ends.
And his brother, of course, plays for the Lions. And
does anybody want to admit to that right now?
No.
Right now, we kind of low-key that.
Okay, second down. I can understand why. And they're pounding ahead and going to the fullback. That was Reyes, the ball carrier. So let's go back to Mark Stoops. Now, his brother Bob Stoops is the head coach at Oklahoma, and his other brother, one of the defensive coordinators. But Mark told us before the game that Bob Stoops drove Oklahoma this week, did not give them time off, believes in giving a team time off. But remember, they lost in Norman to Oklahoma State last year, so he changed up this year, but it's not doing him much good. I mean, Oklahoma State breaks out to a 2-touchdown lead. John will keep us up to date of that one. They're headed into the Big 12 championship next week on Saturday night against Colorado. And I want to remind everybody again, I'm sure most of you know about our huge game tonight out west. Most of you are going to see Notre Dame against USC. It's 8 Eastern. That's the time we'll start. And down to the southeast, of course, it'll be Florida State. John and Terry, they'll keep you up to date if you're watching that Florida State game down in the state of Florida for bragging rights down there. They'll keep you up to date with USC Notre Dame. That's the biggest game of the weekend by far. There's a penalty flag on this punt. A penalty flag has been thrown. Parrish returning for Miami. Gary, let me ask you about USC and Notre Dame. When we get time here, if we take a break, well, who do you like?
I've really been a big favorite of USC all year. You know, I picked them to win the Pac-10 this year, and I know Norm Chow does a great job, and Carson Palmer. I love senior quarterbacks, and I had a feeling Carson Palmer would break out with a great defense that they have.
Holding by the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run.
The only negative,
first
folks,
down
that we can find about this Hurricane team is they are penalized a lot. If you can find a way to win through that, good luck. They are well on their way to win number 33 in a row. And she is awesome with that baton. I hope she's on scholarship. She deserves it.
How did she not go to Purdue? What's
Look
the
at
deal
this.
here?
What a golden girl she would have been. Look at this, huh? Terrific. Best we've seen this year.
Let me ask you a question. You're always throwing these tough ones at me.
Well, let's take a break.
I want to ask this question.
No, you hold on to that. You be quiet, quarterback. We'll be right back. Timeout. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Dell, flexible enterprise solutions that are easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. And the people of Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. You look at views from the hilltop, and there's the Carrier Dome. You'll be seen right behind the hall there. And Ken Dorsey brings the Miami offense out. He's thrown for 309 yards here today. And using his running back, thrown down at the 25-yard line. Josh Thomas making the stop on McGahee.
Here we go. Question for Brent Musburger. Been seeing it all. 28-7. Miami looks like they're going to win this game. Oklahoma's losing. If Miami got upset by Virginia Tech, would they still go to the national championship with only one loss? Ha! I got him. Look at that. Silence. Look at that.
I am calculating. My mind is quickly running through how far the pollsters would drop Miami if they lose to Va Tech. I think they've still got a chance to go to the fifth. I think it's a very, very good question if Oklahoma loses.
That's right.
That begins to drop that third team down.
Well, there'd be Iowa. Right now, we can't go to Iowa after that question anymore. But that would, I guess, be the other team in Georgia, obviously, if they ran the table.
Right, so we could have a Big Ten championship, maybe. Is that what you're saying to me? Iowa and Ohio State?
Well, not we. It would be Keith and
That's right.
Danny Fouts.
Well, we're doing their Rose Bowl in the NFL game. Right? You know, another point about these Canes is let's see what Dorsey does here on this 3rd down and 9. On 3rd downs, they are 4 of 6. 4 of 6 here today. Make it 5 of 7 on that beautiful catch by Johnson as Dorsey led him beautifully for 24 more yards.
Brent, watch the eyes and the understanding of a pass offense that Ken Dorsey brings. You talk about a quarterback looking one direction and then coming back the other direction. And then the throw is perfectly on target, and Andre Johnson got back up and pointed to Dorsey, and Dorsey pointed to Johnson and said, man, if it would only be this easy next year when we're playing in the NFL, this would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, at both ends of that play.
But why I asked is clearly Miami's either the best team or the second best team in the country.
No argument here.
Right?
I absolutely agree. Larry Coker. Still unbeaten. Larry, isn't that easy? Timeout. Well, there's the offensive coordinator, Rob Chudzinski, who was a tight end and a good one at Miami. But the one thing that he has to be upset about, along with Coach Coker, is the misalignment down here that they've had in setting up. That caused them to take a timeout again. And near midfield, here's McGahee picking his daylight and taking off, folks. Goodbye. Hello, end zone. Oh, yeah. A first rounder for sure. That's 51 more yards, 61 earlier. Folks, that's 4-2-8. Oh, my. You remember last week against Pittsburgh?
40 yards. Yeah, same play. Exactly the same play. Nice patience. Watch him wait. Safety goes down to make it an 8-man front. Watch McGahee come to his right, stays with it, bang, gone. And that's what speed, size, great vision, and patience does. And first round, how about first 5? He's going to go first 5.
Sievers adds the extra point. McGahee today has rushed for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Last week, they were under pressure. Pittsburgh playing a big-time game against him. Off his own blocker. Cut to daylight. No one can catch him. And now 2 long ones here today. '21 rushing touchdowns.
And you know, coming into this season, had not Frank Gore hurt his knee in spring training last year. You don't even know if he would have been the featured back this year because Frank Gore had a great freshman year, hurt his knee, and they say the scout team in Miami is pretty good with Frank Gore at running back and Brock Berlin at quarterback, but look at that guy. He's come into his own, and as Larry Coker said, his numbers are off the chart.
Just an amazing performance by number 2, along with number 11, the big 2.
Amazing collection of talent, too, on this football team. And, you know, they're not just running around there all undisciplined willy-nilly. I mean, they are precise in their pass routes, their play calling, their quarterback takes charge, their defense doesn't make mistakes. A very, very good coached football team with great athletes. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator. They are the only team in the country with 2 graduates of their school who are the coordinators. Rhodes is down at the 15-yard line. So next Saturday, we've got college football coming your way at 1 Eastern. You'll see that Virginia Tech-Miami game presented by AT&T. Don't miss that. Last chance to stop the Canes. Then the battle for the Rose Bowl. Washington State wins, they'll go. Then the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Oklahoma, Colorado. Is Oklahoma looking ahead? Are they thinking about Colorado today? They're down 2 touchdowns to Oklahoma State.
Ro McDougal last series, 3 plays and out. He made all 3 tackles.
Reyes to the 29-yard line. Sykes bringing him down.
Reyes, a tough runner. Just a sophomore, north-south guy, explosive, picks his holes well, but you can see there's just a mismatch in talent in this football game. Reyes is, what, close to 100 yards? 99
Needs just one
yards.
more.
Yeah. It's a good game against this Miami defense. Here comes the blitz for Miami.
And the option. And it's an end around to Tyree. What a beautiful play. Penalty flag is thrown. Tyree to the 44-yard line.
There's the bag of tricks, but the bag of tricks had a problem in it. I had a holding penalty in it. It might be enough for the first down, and then they'll bring it back. But Roll, number 6, was held as he got back in the play. But they caught Miami in the perfect defense, a blitz on a reverse.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Jack, Tyree is a versatile athlete.
But unlike Chris Gamble, you don't see him, Brent, playing on defense. Not that he wouldn't like to play on defense the way the Ohio State Buckeye two-way guy did this year, but the coaches say they are so inexperienced at wideout. He's the mature guy. He's the leader. He said, we can't afford to put him on defense. We'll just keep him on special teams and O.
Yeah, exactly. So after the penalty, it's a 1st and 5. Now Nunes with the option. Here's Tyree again. And this time he's given some yards back. So he's a little bit shorter of 100 as Roger McIntosh, the redshirt freshman, comes up. And at the end of the game, this is the toughest job that Gary has today, because we're going to select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. He will have to choose between Dorsey and McGahee. No other candidates.
Chevy player of the game.
Chevy player of the game. You will choose. We will let you.
The Miami players like Lexuses. Do they have any Lexuses? They got all kind of different things. These are former NFL. These are future NFL players.
Gary Danielson will deal with the advertising agency when he gets back to Detroit. This is Nunes firing, and Jones to the 36-yard line.
Nunes very accurate. Really, when he has a team, has a position to win a game, he can make plays, and that's why he's playing right now. Nunes pitching, catching, about as well as he can do it.
Well, my friend, we were overdue for a blowout. Tell Jack Arute to hang loose. Get the saddlebags ready.
See, Ohio State never does this to us. Right to the last play every game.
They're down. And now it's 4th down. Vilma leading the way. They arrive. The ball so quickly. You know, we were speaking about close games. And Gary mentioned Ohio State. This is amazing, folks. In the 32-game winning streak, Miami's had only 4 games decided by 7 points or less. Ohio State has survived 6 this season alone. Parrish wants that one hopper. He just can't wait to get his hands on the football.
Let me shoot the ball. Is it like, I want a chance with the ball.
Well, maybe the Bear would know what to do with the Canes. You know, Bear Bryant back at 54, huh? 115 football players in the desert of West Texas. Only a handful walked out. Junction Boys, Saturday, December 14th at 9 Eastern on ESPN, right after we find out who will win this year's Heisman Trophy. In fact, who will be invited to make the trip.
Might have to add extra guys this year.
First down and 10. They switch back now to Jarrett Payton as the running back. So McGahee, after rushing for 134 yards, gets some time off. And we've talked about speed. Look at McGahee. This is the opener. Johnson breaking free. McGahee again. And then on defense, watch them arrive at the ball. Those are big defensive linemen. Those are 300-pounders running down running backs. 476 yards of offense. Walter Payton's son to the 32-yard line. Let's check in with Jack on Rob Chudzinski, the Miami offensive coordinator.
Well, Brett, you said Kellen Winslow keeps asking his coach, let me see how you played. Kellen, take a look. Rob Chudzinski, a tight end from 88 to 90, but he refuses to show this video to Kellen Winslow. I asked him why, Brent, and he said, I don't want Kellen to realize just how slow I was.
Yeah, Rob was a good tight end. That was Steve Walsh throwing, and here is Kellen Winslow's son, and looks like he's got pretty good genes for a tight end. Today he's caught 3 balls for 64 yards. So Miami uses up another timeout. Penalties the only problem. Here is the Big East. Boston College, big lead on Rutgers. West Virginia now over Pittsburgh by a couple of scores. Virginia Tech a little bit later. You know, there's a Canadian on this Miami offensive line. That's right. And he's a dandy, the spokesman, Brett Romberg, out of Windsor, Canada. And what was it he said?
Right?
He came on the field, he pointed at that, he says, it's a nice sight. I like playing in this building, I do.
That's right. Looked up there, played out Windsor for, they have a semi-pro team, basically. The fratmen there, they don't get paid, but it's not connected with the school. And he went from there to Miami, and he's going to be playing in the NFL. And he was looking around, telling all the guys to salute the flag yesterday.
Obviously, last week he was auditioning for Hank Goldberg's job and got himself a little touch of trouble, but nothing that we can't handle. And no harm, no foul. And just some good, clean fun. And Romberg breaks him out of the huddle.
How about Miami? 35 points, and they've only had 7 third-down tries.
They'll blitz, but they won't get there. And Dorsey's a little bit short. And now Pittsburgh is within 1 score, and they are in the fourth quarter. So Pittsburgh not down 2, they're now down 1, and that game is in the fourth quarter. So West Virginia 24, Pittsburgh 17. Well, that would get a little bit closer as Pittsburgh cuts into that big lead. There's a penalty flag thrown again on this punt. Penalty flag as the catch is made. The 29-yard line. Miami's been penalized 45 yards.
Another one of those legal formations.
Game, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Let's check in now with John Saunders in New York. John?
Around West Virginia and Pitt turning into a pretty good game. Rod Rutherford, this is a 4th and 4. They're just trying to pick up the first down. They get Larry Fitzgerald, takes it in, his 11th touchdown receiving. That is a Pitt freshman record, 24-17 the score right now. Oklahoma State has just scored again. Right now leads the Sooners 21-6. Brent.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked, actually, by that score. Because Oklahoma State beat them last year in a big one in Norman, and they're just going. But then when you take a look at the Oklahoma loss to Texas A&M, as you see that videotape, there were wide receivers breaking wide open.
Yeah, they were, and I still believe that people like to play against the spread offense of Oklahoma if you're not able to throw the ball downfield. And Oklahoma's tried to run the ball, and now they're not throwing the ball as well as when they had that great quarterback when they made that run.
So Freddie Capshaw gets it off.
Great punt.
And Williams fielded and under pressure.
Well, you talked about all the great players on the field today and what a great job Larry Coker has done. Look at all the players that he had to replace in the last 2 years, all playing in the National Football League. 18 of them. McKinney, Shockey, Damian Lewis, a first-round pick. Dan Morgan, one of the best young linebackers you've ever seen. Reggie Wayne, Portis, a great running back with the Broncos. You can reload. 18 guys leave, and you probably have another 20 on the field that are going to play in the NFL.
Nice fake by Nunes. Slips it in underneath to Chris Davis, the fullback from Tampa.
Those were all the guys. There you see since 1984 the number of #1 picks. Well, Miami's leading it now. Had that little dip. But Butch Davis came back, re-energized this Miami football program, and then he goes to the National Football League, and Larry Coker has just kept it going even to this day, and they might be as talented as they've ever been.
Second down. And here's Reyes. Nice run to midfield, and that puts Reyes over 100 yards with that one. He gave back 3 yards, and now he's rushed 13 times for 112 yards on that 17-yard burst for number 39, who's playing his heart out here, but his team trails it 35-7.
People you don't talk about much for Miami are their two safeties, Taylor and Sykes, 26 and 36 because they play deep. But they are very physical football players, both of them, and they just almost play like deep linebackers back there.
Nunes puts it in the tight end's hands, and it's a first down at the Miami 40. That's Joe Donnelly, junior from Rochester, New York.
You know, Brent, Miami defense has got that look again. Looks like they just had turkey dinner. They got the yawns going out here. They might not be asleep, but they got that tryptophan going. They got the yawns. They're bored. They really don't want to rush the quarterback anymore. They just like this football game to end.
Reyes has jumped and gives back a yard to that Canes defense.
Howard Clark that time, backup linebacker, came in, read that play very well, and got in on the play.
So Syracuse closed to within 14 at the end of the first half, and they give back.
They needed that fumble with 14 seconds or 20 seconds to go in a half on the kickoff. That might have been the play that made it a football game.
Nunes sacked at midfield by Williams. Andrew Williams, the senior from Tampa. It was interesting that time. Williams, I believe it was double teamed back here. They kept DJ away from the quarterback, and that just freed up the front, and they pounded him.
Yeah, when they put those two linebackers, number 17, DJ Williams, and either McIntosh or Clark, number 45 or 50, at the end of the line of scrimmage, they're telling you, we're blitzing, we're coming, block us. And you better get rid of it quick because they're going to get in there under 3 seconds and force you to throw the ball.
3rd and 19 for Hughes. Deflected, and Tyree had a step, and Glenn Sharp, a freshman corner, getting some playing time from Miami's Carroll City, with a fine last step and deflected the ball away from the Syracuse wide receiver. That was a nice play.
Yeah, David Tyree might have been showing he's a little tired. You know, he's anticipating he's going to have to go on special teams here because he ran a sloppy route and allowed Sharp to cut in front of him and pick that, knock it down.
Schaefer's punt goes into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20-yard line as the third quarter runs out. Final 12 seconds here.
So how do you beat Miami? You beat Miami by, I think, putting pressure on this guy right here. You see any other weakness in their football team?
But I've never seen anybody do it.
Well,
that's the problem.
I saw Boston College with a good game plan last year. It forced him his feet to move. I saw a little, you got to put pressure on.
The weather affects him a little bit.
I think the weather was a big part of that game. I think Syracuse was right. They wanted to play this game outdoors.
As I recall, the wind was blowing to Washington. That was his only loss as a starter. Look at this down the middle. Oh, that's interference. Throw the flag.
Got his hand on him. Got his hand on the ball. They're going to let that one go.
Oliver. I thought he was pulling his shoulder back. Was I missing something?
He was, but that's the 35-7. We're not going to call it.
That's the waiver rule.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
35-7. Yeah, we don't know.
He had his hand on the jersey. It was clear. The official basically said you should get open more than that. Andre Johnson does.
As a nice crew, we had a meeting with him before the game, and Gary said, we'll be kind, but, you know, you got to rip him over that guy.
Just don't blow him.
Second down.
Talk to Rob
Payton, the ball carrier. And now the quarter comes to an end, and it was a short burst, and then McGahee with 134 yards rushing. Back after this message and word from our ABC station.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Not much more you can say about Miami. I go back, Gary, to the top of the broadcast when I said I think they're underrated. I don't think people have given full value to a 32-game winning streak that's about to become 33. It will take an A-plus game for Vatek or anybody to beat this team.
Well, you're going to have to power back. You're going to have to somebody that can force Miami to move those safeties up, because if you don't, they won't move them up. They'll just wait all game on it.
Penalty flag.
There is a flag. Ineligible receiver to the field inside on the referee.
And that's the big negative, and that's what the coaches will be harping upon leading up to the Vatek game, that all these penalties. They're the fine running back coach, Don Soliger, who's done such a good job.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
The other thing that we don't rate highly enough, people like Dan Werner, who coaches the quarterbacks and helps recruit. Larry Coker's job, Art Kehoe with the offensive line. This is not a one-man. This is not an ego-driven coaching staff. This is a tremendous group of coaches. Look at that punt. Back to the 20. Punted past his coverage, and the return to the 35-yard line. Okay, Gary, our Dodge defensive playbook.
Well, just like we were talking about, to play Miami, you must force them to come out of their shell. Here's the shell. Corners up tight, safeties at least 10 yards, 7 men in the box. They'll say, if you can run the ball against our 7, we'll move it up. But until you do, look at this pursuit. They play the shell, and all 11 guys are inside that hash pursuing the ball. Looks like a snowy day in Syracuse, and they get a lot of snow with those white shirts coming at them.
Nunes. Tyree. Roped and brought down hard by Antrell Roll, number 6. 35-7. Miami leading Syracuse in this Big East battle. This would give them 33 wins in a row. Vatech at home next week. And then following that, if they win, and even maybe if they lose, if Oklahoma loses today, they will be invited to take on Ohio State for all the Tostitos out in the desert.
Well, anybody can lose a game, even a great team. We know that. It's tough to go undefeated. They're going to do it if they beat Virginia Tech. They're going to do it back-to-back years, an incredible record. Vilma just made one of his first tackles of the game, but, you know, we all know what Jonathan Vilma does. He's just a tackling machine, but they don't run up the middle against him. Pressure with that rush that time. Miami knew there was a throwing position. They came up, knocked that ball just as Troy was letting it go. Well, I'll tell you, I heard all this talk about how you can move the ball against this Miami defense. You have to have a few more. Syracuse moved the ball against a lot of teams, but they aren't even coming close to really consistently moving it against this Miami defense today.
And this is a Syracuse home game. Fair catch. Made at the 12-yard line by Roscoe Parrish. All Miami. We take a break. Now, Miami has 482 yards offense, and by my unofficial addition, Dorsey and McGahee have 467 yards of the 482. Folks, you talk about an unbelievable 1-2 punch. That's incredible.
Yeah, but Andre Johnson's got 181, so that doesn't add up. How could he have passing yard? Andre Johnson has a nice, clean game himself, very quietly catching the ball with 6 receptions.
Obviously forgetting that there are 2 ends to a pass play. And here comes Peyton, banging his way solidly for a first down. And we check in with Jack. And Jack, I got to tell you, the quarterback's #1 fan has been his mom through the years.
His mom, Maggie. In fact, she drove a 30-foot recreational vehicle all the way from her home in San Francisco. For the last 2 years during the football season, Maggie has lived in Florida and traveled to the games and run her business from that motorhome. Memo to aspiring collegiate quarterbacks. If you want a decided edge, bring your mom to college with you.
First down and 10. Peyton.
Talked to Rob Chudzinski about Jared Payton. He said that he's been injured a little bit, had a bad back. He says he still thinks he's going to be a really good contributor to Miami before he leaves. And you see the big 3 right there. Red talked about the yards. And Dorsey, I wonder if he's going to try to throw anymore and get over 400 another time. But those big 3, kind of like reminds you of the old Dallas Cowboy big 3 in college football. You got a big receiver, running back, and a quarterback in college football. That's tough to stop.
Now at 500 yards total offense here today. Almost doubling the Syracuse production, and Parrish turning before securing. Knows he should have held up.
It's one of those freshman receivers. Dorsey tries to give him a hit. They actually looked away, and Rob Chudzinski told me a cute story about the 3 freshman receivers. He said all 3 of them, Moore, Jolly, and Moss, come to him before road games to help him tie their ties. He said, we always try to talk to him about pass routes. He said, they don't even know how to tie ties. He said, I got to help them tie their ties before road games.
Now, you don't wear too many neckties to high school down in South Florida. I must say that. They're probably not the only youngsters across the country who ask their family tie their tie. On the slant, Sands, and the spot appears to give them a first down. It does.
Nick Sands was another quarterback, came to Miami, made the move. Now he's been see another reception there. Miami just now starting to spread the ball, and to me it looks like they want to get Dorsey up over 400 yards passing in this game, and tell everybody around the country that, okay, is it stats that count, not wins? I thought it was wins that counted for a quarterback. If it's stats, we'll give him a little stats here today.
Needs 55 more if he is to reach the 400-yard plateau. Peyton got away from the first tackler. Is stopped short of the 45. Dumas. I'll get a reminder tonight now, 8 Eastern. Most of you will see Notre Dame, USC, but down in Florida, you folks who are watching Miami, you'll see the battle for the state of Florida, Florida State. Of course, when you talk about that, there is no question the championship of the state of Florida was decided on the field by Miami. They went through Gainesville. Then in the closest call that they have had, it is Florida State. They beat them by 1 point. If you go back to this 32, soon to become 33 game winning streak, they've had a 3-point win, a 2-point win, a 7-point win, and this one the closest. This 1-point victory against Florida State. This was the closest that anyone has come to beating Miami since Washington did back in September of 2000. Now you go back to a year ago. You go back to that Boston College game. That was their biggest challenge. This year, it appears to have been Florida State which offers it up. Fumble by Dorsey. Still a loose ball, and he finally pulls it in and controls it on the carpet.
And that victory, by the way, Dorsey's the only quarterback in Miami history to beat Florida State all 3 times. He started 3 and won 3 against Florida State.
Ian Romberg discussing that as they go to the sideline, and I think Dorsey probably said no more of those Canadian snaps. Capshaw. They're coming after him.
What a punt.
Under pressure at the 9-yard line. Rashard Williams with the fair catch. 50-yard punt for Capshaw. Good one. Timeout. And the BCS standings certainly will not change at the top with Miami 1 and Ohio State number 2. But a big development is going on as far as number 3 is concerned. Now, here they are, and it is 28-6. I think Bob Goodrich told me that Oklahoma is losing in Stillwater to Oklahoma State. And so then Georgia against Georgia Tech, don't forget, that's an old rivalry game. Iowa's season is over, and so the Hawkeyes could be challenging. And then tonight, Florida State down in Jupiter, Florida, and all those other wonderful towns down there. You'll be able to see the Gators and the Noles. Noon's in trouble. You know, Gary, you and I are having a conversation during the commercial break, and I think we both agree from an NFL standpoint, McGahee would be our first pick.
Top 5.
A scout came through Miami and then happened to be up here at Syracuse. He told the Syracuse coaching staff there are, and this is including underclassmen, there are 8 first-round draft choices on this Miami team. And you made a great point. You think that safety is a very promising youngster.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Taylor, number 26. Sykes, number 36, is right there also. And but McGahee, Andre Johnson, take your pick. I mean, just great football. I think DJ Williams is the number 1 pick. Wolfolk is the number 1 pick.
Vilma in the end zone.
That could be grounding. That could be.
No, that's the 35-7 grounding rule.
Okay.
Remember,
all right. I asked. I asked before the game. You must be outside the tackle box to throw it away. Clearly, yeah, that's pretty close. Good job, Troy. Got outside the tackle box and got rid of the ball and then threw it past the line of scrimmage.
And there is number 51 to the sideline. And Greg Mark is over there, defensive line coach, another of their outstanding coaches. And this punt is fielded close to midfield. 8:51. And Miami about to win 33 in a row. Shaking up on the play and helped out to the sideline. We've been talking a lot about Miami and Brock Berlin, who transferred from Florida, figures to replace Ken Dorsey next year as the starter. But they have also recruited the top high school quarterback in the country. That is Kyle Wright, coming out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Quarterback coach Dan Werner was helping to recruit him. And now Dorsey's day is finished. 345 yards, 16 of 25, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And the backup, Derek Crudup, a sophomore from Deerfield Beach, Florida, steps in. And on the first play, to Peyton the toss play. The running back is stopped at the 49. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Brent, Derek gets a special mentor when it comes to Miami football. Imagine having to go through and look at video and break down film as a backup quarterback, and then have to take all the tests that the coaches give you, and then go to school as well. And then when you get done with practice, end up being given pop quizzes by the guy that you do mop-up duty for. That's what happens. Ken Dorsey prepares weekly quizzes for his backup and gives them to him. Let's see how he does in this quiz.
Facing a 2nd and 10, Jack, right now. Basic I formation. Coach Coker, I'm sure, wanting to work on the clock. Get back to South Florida, start thinking about Virginia Tech. Slick move. And then Derek will step out of bounds almost at the marker. And as soon as we finish here, good entertainment coming your way with the Skins game. Can anybody beat up on the Tiger Man? Phil Mickelson can't do it in a major. Maybe Freddie Couples at the ConAgra Foods Skins game. And the first 9 holes coming up right after this broadcast. So the workday is finished. And folks will see 16 of 25, 345 yards, and now 37-1 as a starting quarterback. I'm not sure we're going to see numbers like that again in a long, long time in college football. Peyton banging ahead for the first down for Miami.
Well, his style is almost uncanny, similar to number 20, the All-American Bernie Kosar. Both played with their minds and their eyes, and they threw off balance and a little unorthodox, and people questioned whether they could go to the next level, and Kosar did pretty good. I got a feeling this guy might not be a 1st or 2nd round draft pick, but I got a feeling he goes to the right spot. Maybe a dome team. Throws pretty good in the dome. He'll learn the game, and 3 or 4 years from now, he'll get a shot, and I know he'll be ready.
Timeout has been called by Miami, so they will use. You know, while we've got time, let's talk about Paul Pasqualoni on the other side. He's completing, I think, it's his 12th year. This will be his first losing season,
yes.
And when a school like this goes bad, a school that back in the 50s, I believe it was, won a national championship. They've got a great tradition. There's a lot of folks who jump on the head coach, and I thought I would ask Troy Nunes what Pasqualoni means to the team as a human and not just a football coach, and here's what the quarterback had to say.
Everyone that leaves here, I know personally, and the seniors that are leaving here, you know, we're better people, we're better men, we're leaders. We can go out in the community and do things that not a lot of people have the opportunity to do. You know, Coach puts more than just football in your mind. He uses football as a microcosm of life, and you know, we're better off when we leave here.
In my relationships with Pasqualoni, I have found him to be an outstanding coach, and he's done a great job with Nunes, among others, and
well, they went 10-3 last year.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you know, they're faced. Listen, he said we had to play a perfect game to beat these guys. He was wrong. I don't even think a perfect game would beat these guys. They're just too good of a football team, and they don't. Syracuse just doesn't match up with this version of Miami team.
You know, when you compare anybody to Coker, there's
not fair.
It isn't fair. Folks, here it is now, about to become 23-0. Michael Jordan's number against 0 setbacks, and it comes from the offensive side of the ball. Was once an assistant coach, of course, with Ohio State. You'll be reading a lot about that.
Miami has all their backups in, Brent, on the offensive line also.
So the final 7 minutes and 10 seconds coming up now. You know, Derek has football genes too, I'm reminded, because his daddy played for the Raiders when they were in Los Angeles in the late 80s. You know, corner blitz time, and Crude up does not get it off. Now, there was an example of what Dorsey does so very well in that situation. I think, Gary, that Dorsey feels pressure as well as any quarterback I've been around in the college game in a long time. And in that situation, he would have got it out. Might have been incomplete. But
yeah, he read it. Yeah, actually, Jared Payton did a good job on that. Josh Thomas had the sack, but really, you know, if you're an inexperienced young quarterback, you just can't be ready for that kind of stuff. And Crudup has got some, as we talked about, some tough competition. If he wants to play, he's going to have to up his game for next season.
Penalty flag, and Capshaw won't even bother to punt it. He'll wait for the yards to be marked off already.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense.
That's
5 yard penalty
for
4th down.
55 yards. 8 for 55 against Coker in Miami. Now Capshaw ready again. The fake. First down and Sean Taylor, touchdown. 47 yards on the fake punt. Capshaw.
They showed it.
Taylor for 47 yards and
wasn't called from the bench. I'll tell you. No, they showed it the play before on the offsides, and Capshaw went over to Taylor and said, if he does it again, I'm going to throw it to you. They just said, you know, Capshaw, if you come after us, I'm going to throw it. Touchdown.
41-7. So those of you who just watched West Virginia finish up with the victory over Pittsburgh, we've just had a fake punt. And no, it was not the coaches running up the score or anything like that. It was a couple of players who called an audible, and Taylor took the pass from Capshaw. It was 4th and 21, and they went 47 yards for the touchdown. I know the fans are booing Miami over on the sideline, but I'm sure that Larry Coker, the first thing he will do will be go over to see Coach Pasqualoni.
Look at that
and
pass.
Apologize. It's a Billy Kilmer wounded duck special. And Taylor, I believe he's the young man on the reverse on the punt return last week, and it is basically young athletes being young athletes. We take you back to the opening of the game. McGahee, Sand, Johnson, and again McGahee, who rushed for 134 yards, and then one of the ugliest touchdown passes you will ever see. And I must say that through the years, I have really changed my opinion about running up the score. I just think, okay, it's athletes. You're players. Your 11 guys are out there. And if you don't like it, stop them. It was 4th and 21. Somebody tackle that guy. So we won't get too upset about that. Dorsey, McGahee, and Johnson had big days. But again, Gary, I go back to the fact that there's no way the coaches.
No, we talked about early that Miami players have great instincts. They're gamers, and that was the instinct.
Absolutely.
You know, I would get a little upset if I was Pasqualoni and they called it, but it wasn't called.
It wasn't called. Time for Vinny DeCush. Stay tuned now for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John and Terry will have scores, highlights from Times Square Stadium.
Here's the bad thing about that fake punt if you're Miami. No one will ever believe you're going to run another one after that lousy pass. Everybody, Virginia Tech and Ohio State will say they'll never run a fake. Just come right at it. That kid can't throw it all.
Ugliest pass I have ever seen. And then it's a touchdown on top of it.
And Dorsey right now is saying, I hope no one thought I threw that.
Look at it. Here he is. Capshaw. Give me 5. That was it. 4th and 21. And now Syracuse starting to run in some reserves here to 5:26 left, and Miami well on its way. They'll win number 33. They go home to play Virginia Tech
Yeah, and they've won 21 straight in the Orange Bowl, and the least number of points they've scored in that streak is 27 points. So if you're Virginia Tech, you better be getting ready to score points against Miami at home.
Now, Daryl Kennedy, the fullback, was the ball carrier the last time. Nunes got a wide-open Tyree. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. First down for the Orangemen.
Look around at Miami's defensive line and you say, well, they got their backups in. Well, their backups play normally a lot anyway. They just have a lot of players that get a lot of playing time, and they've scraped the end of the bench. I mean, everybody in there now is third string or lower, and they're in there playing, except the two safeties.
Toss play. Oh, what a blow. Barry Baker, the junior from North Babylon, New York, getting the call that time. Penalty flag thrown on the play.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. First down.
David Tyree playing everything. Didn't get the ball thrown to him a lot today, but didn't get to run down a lot of kickoffs either because they didn't have a lot of chances. Just 2 of those, but great. I think he's going to be a very, very valuable football player in the NFL. Kind of like Tabucky Jones. Not as talented as Tabucky, but Tabucky set a new standard here at Syracuse, saying, why don't you play special teams like Tabucky Jones if you're a senior on this team?
Stretching out the play. Baker, the ball carrier again. Let's go down now to Jack.
Brent, if you ask the coaches or people involved with the University of Miami, how do they not get distracted by this incredible win streak that they have amassed, they will point out the fact that what they have done through the years is develop a system of accountability. Players from former Miami teams come back and visit at practice. They adopt players that succeed them here at Miami, and they say they're the ones that keep the current players accountable and keep this all about family. And it keeps them from getting distracted and thinking about individual efforts.
And, there's a group on this Miami team that we probably have not given their due to here today. It's great defensive speed again, and Nunes going down hard, and that would be John Square, the defensive end, making that play, getting some snaps. But it's the offensive line at Miami. We talk about, the skill guys, but here are the difference makers. Brett Romberg in there, and Haji Razuli. Haji Razuli was a starter a year ago. He and Romberg coming back, but Joseph Myers and Carey with good futures ahead of them. They have just worked hard all day long. They get the front open, and there's the leader over there, Romberg, number 66. Great spirit, great spokesman.
Great line coach here too. Art Keogh does a great job.
He does.
They makes those guys fighters and competitors, and he's been the one standard in the state here.
Here's the interception. This could be an easy touchdown. Sykes, the junior from Miami's Pace High School.
Troy Nunes is down. He got just hit right as he let that ball go. Troy Nunes is just writhing his pain. Looks like his left knee's holding. That's why that ball fluttered out and was just like catching a punt for the Miami safety. I told you, they kept their 2 starting safeties in because they did not want to give up points. Your last game, last time on the turf, the game's basically over with, and what a tough time to catch an injury. Throws the ball, steps with his left knee as he got hit. On top, kind of a twist, one of those hog ties, caught his foot in the turf, and that's what wrenched the knee.
As one-sided as his game has been, that was the first turnover of the contest. And we go all the way down, and again, I certainly echo what my colleague Gary Danielson has said about Troy Nunes. I enjoyed the conversation with him yesterday. He's such an outstanding young man, son of a high school football coach. Persevered, lost his job, got it back this year, and this is one of those twist injuries to a leg. And here's one of the young defensive backs just there was nobody down there to contest this.
No, actually, I should correct myself. I thought he got hit as he let the ball go. I had my eyes downfield because it came out so poorly thrown. The ball just really slipped out of Troy's hand. He wasn't hit before he let it go, and he just threw a pop-up, and too bad right at the end of it he gets twisted down, and that's where he twisted the knee.
Well, let's talk about Virginia Tech as Nunes will be helped up here and brought over to the sideline. Let's talk about Virginia Tech and Miami here, Gary, and their lone remaining game before a meeting with the Buckeyes out of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We all know that Beamer A has good special teams.
Yes.
That he has he's got one running back, I guess, left. I don't know how the health is.
If they had both backs, would be a little bit different. Jones and Suggs both. I think it'd be a little bit different. But they have shown the ability to throw the ball a little bit more in the pass. Should we put the little W in here?
I think.
I don't know if I can do that. I'll put another W right there. That looks nice. All those W's in a row like that, doesn't it? It's like birdie in every hole in golf. I mean, and as Troy Nunes come up, and for the fans that are still here, they're giving Troy a standing ovation. He's been through a lot. Talks about his mom also coming to every one of his games. I think she missed one game, and you know what George DeLeon, their fine offensive coordinator, told us about Troy is he stands for everything that's good about college football. Great student, great teammate, and a very, very capable football player.
There was a wonderful story about him in the Syracuse newspaper yesterday, and the headline I thought was so good. It was Years Gone By, a playoff on Years Gone By, and finishing strong after 5 rocky seasons in Syracuse. What college football is all about. Easily Miami today, timeout. The ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Circuit City, we're with you. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And AT&T Wireless brings you in life, your mobile life made better. They have some beautiful old buildings on this campus, don't they? That's Lyman Hall. Renaissance-style architecture there. Just gorgeous. Well, we've got some big hitters.
Yep, Sykes is one of them, boy.
Miami team. You cannot relax at any time against this team.
I didn't think they'd be able to replace Ed Reed, who was, as good as there was. He and Roy Williams, 2 great safeties last year, but these guys are great athletes, and they're going to be just, I don't know, quite as good as Ed, but very, very capable safeties.
Well, these are the marquee victories during this 33-game winning streak. Florida State 3 times, Va Tech a couple of times, Florida twice, and then Penn State, Nebraska, Tennessee this year. Washington, they got even with them last year. That was the last team to beat them. And Georgia Tech once. So they have not been beating up on cupcakes throughout this streak. These are the heavyweight champions, and it is remarkable how everybody has tried to put them down. As R.J. Anderson, now the quarterback, he lost his job to Troy Nunes this season. He's in a mop-up role and a quick handoff to the fullback to the 25-yard line.
R.J. had such a nice year last year when they went 10-3. Everyone assumed he would be the quarterback coming into this year, but struggled with his accuracy, could not complete passes, and kind of had to give the job to Troy Nunes.
So from Stillwater, it is 28-6. Oklahoma State leading Oklahoma at the half. Kennedy slipping a little bit.
Get Josh Heupel over there really quick. That's what they need, somebody to throw the ball.
How about Billy Sims?
Right.
Steve Owens and a few of those fellows as Syracuse struggling here just about every part of their game today. So the final 2 minutes, let me thank some folks. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Howard Katz. The senior producer, Bob Toms. The producer and the coordinating producer of ABC's College Football, Bob Goodrich. Directed by Larry Cam. Associate producer, Drew Kaliski. And associate director, Brian Fay. That ball is complete to the 32-yard line. Fontenette, wide receiver from Rochester, New York. George Hill, our stats man. Brian Mobilson, back from a brief holiday over in Hawaii. Not only he comes back as a spotter, but now he comes back as an engaged spotter. So how's that for a week off?
That means he takes 2 bags of chips instead of 1 when he leaves each week.
That's a lovely bride to be, Catherine. And our technical director, Monty Poling, he's been with us all season long. Done a great job. Computer stats, Craig Rothberg, Matt Belka. The director of production for ABC is Mark Loomis. And where would we be without our 2 PAs, Sun Devil and Red Fox?
You ever going to say their name this year?
No, that's the second year. If they make it past their rookie season. Well, R.J. Anderson was born in Bristol, Connecticut, not far from ESPN. Well, our Chevrolet players of the game, Tim Dorsey. And now some of the fellows are separated down there. Temper's a little hot. And Walter Reyes of Syracuse. Dorsey throwing for 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a recognition of their efforts. Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each University General Scholarship Fund. The one thing I hope we do not see, and there's absolutely no excuse for it now, is some kind of a fracas here at the end of this game.
Late hit, defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
A lot of people question whether Larry Coker was the right guy for this. Here's the last play. It was Fontenette again with R.J. Anderson. Remember, Fontenette, number 90, is the guy that put out Troy Nunes, and R.J. had a few words for him afterwards.
Here comes Larry Coker, and the first person he's headed for is Paul Pasqualoni. And the second statement's going to be about the fake punt. Let's go down to Jackaroo, Jack.
Well, Coach, congratulations. But first, let me ask you about the fake punt. Did that come from the sidelines, or was that freelance?
Well, we had a call where the Flyers, when the Flyers came in, and we couldn't protect him. We were kind of a man short. Basically, it was an automatic, and we really regret that. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it wasn't a call from the sidelines. It was a.
You are down to one final game before you can get your ticket punched to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Well, yes, it is. This is a huge win for us today, and obviously we have one more. And I thought we played awfully hard, played pretty well for the most part today, and we've got to do the same. We've got a very tough Virginia Tech team coming, but we are in the Orange Bowl next week.
Congratulations, Coach, and thanks.
Jack, thank you.
Well, there you have it. The Miami Hurricanes are one victory away from going to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl and playing Ohio State. 49-7. The Canes roll 33 in a row. John Saunders and Terry Bowden at Times Square Stadium. They're next. So long, everybody.